What's going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Ballo with a brand new Dauntless build. So this right here is a sustain build. It's meant for you to sustain and last longer in combat, keep regening that health and stay in the battle. It's based around the Shockjaw build. The shock is based around the Shockjaw War-Pike. This War-Pike is very effective at what it does. Basically heals you. The build is based on dealing wound damage. You want to constantly deal wound damage, hit that part and heal from it so that you can use, save your pots for late game as long as possible and use them only for dire emergencies. So basically the Shockjaw War-Pike is the base of the build. This is what we're going to be using to get all this regen. So we're going to be dealing out wound damage, and we also have some cells that actually help complement that. So I have Vampiric Cell for Vampiric Cell. It's only a 2, but a Vampiric Cell, whenever you actually start a wound, whenever the part gets wounded, you will get a little bit of healing. When you first get into combat, you're gonna have to wound it so that you can have a place to attack and get some heals from. So as soon as it happens, you'll get a burst of healing. You may get hit along the way at the beginning to do when you first start. So this right here will be here to help you. Also, we have a +3 barbed cell. This cell gives you a flat amount of wound damage, and we heal 5% of the wound damage because of the War-Pike. So we're trying to get as much wound damage so we can get more heals off as possible, and it's consistent wound damage along with it. So to complement the weapon, the armor that we are using is, we're going to start off with the chest plate. The chest plate has Knockout King on it because it's the Pangar Frost plate. So basically it's the Frost plate from the Maelstrom. It has Rage on it, so whenever we're low, we're going to be dishing out a little bit more damage so that we can get as much health back as possible really fast. We're going to try to avoid being low at all costs, but whenever it's low, this will help us to pick back up and get ourselves back into fighting. And it also has Fortress. Fortress is really good. It has +1 Fortress. You can get out of combat. It gives you a shield, and then you can get back in there. So let's say if your health is low and you don't want to risk getting hit, and so you can just pull out of combat, wait for 10 seconds to get your shield up, and if you heal while you have your shield up, you will actually have some extra health to get knocked around with, so you won't have to lose as much health. So if you keep the shield, it's a big advantage. If you lose the shield, is not, and that's what it's for. It's so that you can stay in the game and don't get knocked down. So for our lantern, we have the Koshai lantern. The Koshai lantern, we're gonna utilize this all the time. As soon as it's up and we need to heal, we just crack the instant. We're pretty much using it for the instant. So the instant cast is a 10% heal. So back in the day, Shroud used to have an effect that would give you 17% damage. 17% of the damage that you deal, you would heal it. So with this build, you will be able to heal while your instant is up for 15% damage. That's really solid because Shroud used to also tick you for 1% of health every second, which is like the downside for using the Shroud weapon. But now you don't have that, and you have a solid 15% whenever this is up, whenever you crack your instant. So that's really solid. All right, so the hold ability, we're gonna ignore the 650 damage because we're gonna use that to disengage, re-engage. We're gonna use it for mobility. That's gonna keep us, both safe, and it's also gonna help us get back in there. So it's really solid. You're gonna have this pretty much up all the time because you're gonna be dishing out a lot of damage. You're gonna be going in, getting as much hits as you can, disengage when you need to. It's pretty much gonna be up because the War-Pike stacks the lantern relatively quickly. So you're gonna utilize that a lot. It's really solid and helpful. On that cell, there's another Vampiric Cell. So whenever we start our first wound, we get some heals. So we're gonna go with the mask now. The mask is the Deadeye mask is very, very solid with this build because it gives you wound damage on hit. We have a +3 toughness on it for health, so that's gonna give us a bigger health pool to fill up. More health pool means that, you know, instead of just, you know, healing for that, we have a bigger health pool to put this health at, this extra health that we're getting. So that's why we have that cell. I believe it's very good for the build. Let me know what you think about that decision. So on the arms, we're using the Deadeye grips. The Deadeye grips is another wound damage applying. Is another wound damage. It has Savage on it. We're gonna give it another Savage, so that's +3 in total for this armor piece. It's gonna give us good solid damage. That's gonna help us with our heals. We want as much wound damage as possible. Remember that. So we also have Fortress on the Frost boots, because we also have Fortress on the Frost boots, and we give it +2 Fortress, so that, you know, we can have an even bigger shield when we disengage and when we engage. Now, understand that you will get your shield if you don't take damage for 10 seconds, which is like extreme. I think it's 10 seconds. I believe it's 10 seconds, which is extremely good, because if you're in combat and you haven't been dealt damage in 10 seconds while you're dealing out damage, you will get this shield. So you don't even have to back out for it. It will just get on there as long as you haven't been dealt damage for that short amount of time. So that's what makes this build really, really solid. So to complement our attire and to complement the weapon, I often use the Insight Tonic so that we can dish out more damage, more wound damage. Wound damage is super good. I use the Blitz Tonic so I can attack really, really fast to get the health back really, really fast. I'm going to sub this out for. I'm thinking about subbing this one out, or the Frenzy Tonic out. I'm thinking about subbing the Frenzy Tonic out so I can put the Lifesteal Tonic. And the Lifesteal Tonic is really a core piece for this build, but I currently am farming those. But you usually have the Lifesteal Tonic in here, so I would keep the Frenzy. I would keep the Blitz and take out the Frenzy, and then that would be the build for, you know, the weapons that for the items that we're going to be using. So this is the build. I believe it's a fun build. It may not be like the best build, but it's based for players who are trying to stick into combat or use it to stay alive as much as possible. Or if you're carrying somebody, you can always be up and always have health. I've used this to take down Reza. I personally have used this to take down Reza. As you will see, I love this build. I fell in love with this build. It's so fun. Let me know what you guys would do to optimize this build. It is super fun. This is just another weird way to play Dauntless. I think it's great. So guys, thanks so much for jamming out with me. I'll show you what this can do. You guys, please be safe and careful. Have a lovely, lovely day. I'll see you guys later. So once it's, because this is gonna be a really good build for people who are trying to get really we're trying to make it farther, get a lot of sustain, and people just like the sustaining style of builds. And then after this, I'll be making a hammer build. I want to make a hammer build. This creature's like super fun to fight. This is on the last island. What's up, girl? How's it going, my man? How you doing, my dude? To see you again. Just working on a build. Without sleep? $32 no sleep. Oh man, that's crazy. You're the real MVP on that one, dude. Why no sleep? Wow, that was like one that was meant for me. Why no sleep, my man? I'm in the middle of pulling a 32 hour. Oh, you're in the middle of pulling a 32-hour shift. Don't sleep, don't rest. Your body. Oh man. Oh, stop, son. Right here. This is exactly what we needed right here. I wish we were able to dish out more damage right here. There's a wound part right there. Dang, man, I hope you make it out all right, and I hope you actually get some rest later on. Yeah, it's such a cool fight. I'm testing out a build on Reza. So this is gonna be really solid. I think it's gonna be super cool. No, no, no! He screwed me, Reza. Hey, wait a minute. Never mind. We're doing good. It's a sustain build. It's a sustain build, so it's based off being able to heal and use at least, you know, without using your pots. And rewarding you for not being hit after a while. You can look at my health right now. My health is like literally going up. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Ain't nobody playing with that. Ain't nobody playing with that, man. So it's utilizing the nasal the shock jaw. Do you sacrifice something by having a leash based build? You do not have the big damage. You not have the huge damage. It's all about lasting longer. If you're a player who just needs to who struggles in lasting in fights, you get hit a lot or whatever, and you want to recover, this lets you recover very, very easily. You're not a super hard carry, especially if you're a newer player. This is a build that's specifically like really better for you, for newer players, and for people who want to carry and always beat, won't be able to get knocked down, or if you're even hurt a little bit, you can actually bounce back really, really quickly. So yeah, it's just about, and not only that, it's a fun build. It's just a fun build. It's just so that you don't have to just play the meta builds. You can just play whatever you need, or if players that actually need this type of play style to make it, or just need to last longer. It's also pretty good for supporting. I can carry my teams. Like with Reza, I know I can. If I have partners, I know I can do Reza with partners. Absolutely. The build isn't even finished yet. This is a BS version of the build. But the fact that this is the BS version of the build, and I'm soloing Reza with the unfinished version. I know it's gonna be solid. I know there's like other better builds, yeah. But not only is it just for... Oh man, I actually don't have any more slots. I actually filled up all my slots. It's not a part-breaking build. It's not an end-all, say-all. It's not OP. It doesn't utilize... The best part about it is that it does not utilize the exotic that you do not have. If newer players don't have the exotics, like what are they gonna use? This is definitely for that. If you don't have anything yet, you can make this build and do just as good. You can make this build, and if you're good enough, you can actually solo. I should use what you call it. You can solo Reza. You can. So I'm making a video of it. On YouTube. I'll be making a video for it on YouTube. And to get your consistent heals, you have the Nazaga. I mean, not the Nazaga. You have the Koshai for heals. You have the Koshai for heals, and because it gives you a little bit of lifesteal right then and there, along with your weapon that gives you lifesteal. So it'll give you 16% lifesteal. It'll give you 15% lifesteal. Back in the day, the old Shroud, its passive used to give you 17% lifesteal and it would tick you. It would deal damage to you if it was unsheathed for 1% every second. This right here, you don't have the tick. You have 15% instead of 17%. You trade off that 17% for the not ticking. That's awesome. It's cool beans. We like it's very, very solid. The chest plate is frostback, so it gives you 50. It gives you health. Not only that, I mean not health, but it gives you fortress. Fortress, if you're out of combat, it gives you a shield. It gives you a shield, which will help you take less damage, and it'll help you recover. If you don't have any health, that shield can let you go in and dish out some more damage. You're gonna be looting parts, and hopefully you'll be able to interrupt things whenever it does something. Like that. Ooh, that was damage. So you can back out of combat, get some heals in. Back out of combat and not get heals in. Back out of combat, get you a shield. And be able to get back in there. Your Koshai will help you. Your Koshai will help you dodge his animations. And War-Pike is just very forgiving. The build is very forgiving. It's meant to be forgiving. If you're not that good at fighting, you can be able to bounce back, sustain, stay in a fight, and we just kill, wrestle with it. That's what I'm talking about, baby. With a Nae Saga. Oh yes, dog. Solo with a Nae Saga, dog. Absolutely, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.